Good morning. Good morning, gorgeous. Hi. So I decided for my channel, I know I like to post like concerts I've been to and places I go to and um whatnot. I haven't uploaded any vacations, but I will, just so people could see like places like, okay, maybe I want to go there. But I want to start doing story times, and a lot of people I talk to, they like, girl, you got some stories. And I've seen other people do it, and I'm like, I know I got some stories to beat that. So I'm gonna start story time. I got my goddess locks done. I really honestly don't like it. A lot of people complimented me and said that they did, but um I wasn't very vocal to my stylist. Like, I honestly wanted it to be a short bob. And I actually had got hair originally. And she's like, oh, that's the wrong hair. And she told me to get this hair. But this hair, I would not recommend because they stick together. I don't know if y'all could see this. But they stick together. And I've had to cut it a few times. And I just don't like the hair. I just don't like it. And I have to learn how to be more vocal, because when she told me to change the hair, this is not the original hair I had. I had a much more silkier. She was like, oh, the hair that I got, it doesn't last or something like that. She said it just wasn't good hair. But I've only had this for 2 weeks, and the back of it is starting to get loose. A few of the braids are popping out. I have to put things like this on for it to, stick together. So just when y'all go to the stylist, y'all, just be vocal for what you want, because some of these people, they just want you spending money. And this cost me $180. I asked my friend, is that the normal price? She said yeah. But I don't feel like, I know that if I would have got the bob, there's no way in hell that it would have been 180. It probably would have been 80. But anyway, into the story time. So I wanted to talk about like different guys that I've been with and stuff like that, just to be a warning to ladies, because I've learned so much from my experiences, and I know that you guys will too, as I do learn from other story times or just things that I've been through. So the first story I want to talk about is, I'm not going to give his real name. Let's call him Albert. So Albert was somebody that was a little older, maybe like 6 years older, and we actually met at work. Now, I used to work for a nonprofit. I'm not going to say the name, but maybe I will one day, but not right now. But I used to work for a nonprofit when I was pregnant with my son. And after, that was during a time when I was very vulnerable. I wasn't with his dad. So, naturally I went out to seek love. So basically the dude I was with, he kept it real with me. He's like, listen, I'm not ready to be a stepdad. So I'm like, of course I was heartbroken, because I thought I was so in love with him. And he was like the first guy that I really liked. So when I was crying over him, this guy that was older, about 6 years older, he was there to literally comfort me. So I'm thinking, oh, he cares about me and all of this stuff. And he didn't. So we ended up having like a physical relationship that I didn't anticipate on. We did hang out twice. One time, the second time was like the last time I saw him, and that was like closure for me. And basically he became an ungodly soul tie. So that's what I want to talk about today, ungodly soul ties. Like, an ungodly soul tie is anybody that you are friends with. It could be a family member as well, but it's anyone who makes you feel less than what you are. So if you have a parent that's always putting you down, saying, oh, you're this, you're that, but you always like reaching out to them, that's an ungodly soul tie, and you need to break that too. In this instance with this guy, I would come to him when I was lonely. Like that's what it was. When I was lonely, we started messing around in 2009, and I finally left him alone completely in 2016. And I actually had to pray over myself. Like it wasn't until I saw, shout out to TD Jenks, and he talks about ungodly soul ties. And his definition is so accurate. He's like, any person, this could be anybody that makes you feel less than what you are or less than what you're worth. So this man used to, he'll say I'm pretty, but then be like, oh, like he'll give like backhanded compliments. So I would ask him like, well, why can't we be in a relationship? He's like, oh, well, at the time I was under 21. He's like, oh, the places I like to go is 21 over. I said, it's Red Lobster, it's Olive Garden, it's the movies. Like there's plenty of places we can go to on a date where you don't have to be 21. So I just knew that was an excuse. Then once I turned 21, he was like, oh, I don't want to be with somebody that's still trying to figure things out. I said, well, what does that mean? He's like, oh, you live at home. And at the time I did. I was 21. I moved out the following year when I was 22. So finally when I move out and I get a job, because I don't know if you all remember, but in 2010, it was a recession. So it was just really hard for everybody to get a job. I had my unemployment, however, and I was in trade school. So I was never a slouch. Like, not to big up on myself, but me, I was never a slouch. I was never a girl to just sit around. I always was working. If I wasn't working, I was in school getting my unemployment, and now I'm about to get my degree in May. But like, I was never a slouch. So I just never understand how he would just say these things to me. And I'm like, okay, like, and then I try to think of it from his perspective, because it's like, if I have my own place, like I have my own place. I've had my own place for 10 years now. I wouldn't want to necessarily be in a relationship with somebody that lives at home. But if you're trying, like how I was busting my ass. Like I was going on Craigslist. I went out and applied for stuff. Like I tried to get an apartment from 18 years old. Like I was not playing. I put in applications. Finally, I asked my coworker, because she used to brag and say she had a 2-bedroom paying $300. I said, girl, tell me about that hookup. And she told me how to do it. And yeah. So, so basically he would always make an excuse as to why we couldn't be together. So finally, as the years passed by, I asked him like, yo, so every time we made a date, he would make an excuse. Like one time I got fully dressed and everything, and I got fully dressed, and one time he was like, oh, I'm driving. He didn't have a car. Mind you, he's like, oh, I'm driving my aunt's car and taking everybody home. I was like, did y'all get drunk? Like, like, I'm not understanding, because he said they went to church. I said, so if it's your aunt's car, why can't you just tell your aunt, hey, I have plans, whatever. Like, he made it seem like he was the designated driver. That's not your car. So why is it that you have to take everybody home? And I really let my feelings, I really let him know, like, how do you think that makes me feel? Like, how do you think that makes me, you make plans with me, and then he's like, oh, it probably makes you feel sad. I was like, yeah, it's like, that's not right, So finally, what broke the camel's back for me is the last 2 times we were intimate, he had an odor, and he began to like gain a lot of weight. And there's no shade to anybody that's big, but for him to like be so critical towards me, it's like, okay, whatever. And then like he started being disrespectful. He started saying things that were just mean. Like at our old job, we had something called Basic Training Academy. So everybody that was involved or that was on the team, or what do you call it, like everybody that was on board, we had to go through it. And so it was like a retreat. It was like camp. So me and this other guy, we the one that I was with, he's my ex-boyfriend, we were in the bushes. We weren't having sex, but people thought we were. And we were just literally kissing and talking, like literally. And we were wrong, because I remember they had the flashlights out and they were looking for me, because at the time I was pregnant. And you know, they were looking for us. They was like, you know, you know, where are they, and especially me, you know, I'm the 19-year-old pregnant girl. They're like, well, where are they? So that was immature of us to just be in the bushes like that, you know, that we was just being stupid. But he said that he felt like I was a certain type of a girl because I was in the bushes with him. So then why would you want to, like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, that's like, oh, you know, the corner store got robbed, or no, better, the corner store got bad meat sandwiches, so I'm gonna come behind that customer that's telling me this, and I'm gonna patronize. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, if you feel like, and this is for a lot of dudes, if you feel like a girl is a hoe, because he didn't come out and say it, but he's like, oh, I felt like you was a certain type of female because you was in the bushes with him. Like, first of all, he was my boyfriend. Second of all, we weren't doing anything. So for you to think that and then you come behind him is like, that makes no sense. And then I realized a lot of these F-boys or whatever, they don't have self-esteem. So because they feel so bad about themselves, right? They feel so horrible about themselves. So they're not going to treat you right. You know, especially the ones with mommy issues. This particular guy, his mom was a crackhead. His dad was in jail. His grandparents raised him, but I guess that wasn't enough. And he just was horrible. Like, he would do stuff like he would have birthday parties, like in his 20s, like he did that a lot. And so he would invite my friends. And of course they didn't go. They would tell me like, yo, he's doing this. And, like, he's throwing this party. Are you going? And I'm like, no, I don't even know about it. And I questioned him and he denied it. I was like, my friends, because it was a big company. It was huge. It was like 300 people per year. And they would put us working in different schools. So I'm like, my friends that I made, they didn't know each other. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't know each other. You know, they had about 300 of us, if not more, per city. You know, I gave a hint. But anyway, so my friends didn't know each other, and he would invite them to his party. Of course, they didn't go because of their loyalty to me. They knew what had happened between us. And they was like, yo, you know, Crystal, he's having this party. Are you going? I'm like, no, I didn't even know about it. And he's like, oh, I didn't invite them. I'm like, yes, you did. Like, you purposefully did that to, like, I guess, be a bully or to try to. It just didn't make sense. But moral of the story is he did a lot of things that made me feel insecure. Like, my self-esteem was so low at one point that I felt like, well, as long as we're doing this, that's something. Like, that's how low he made me feel. Like, you know, and I was like, hold on. Not only am I a good-looking person or good-looking woman, but I have a very big heart. Like, I treat my friends like my family. I know that I'm a good mother. You know what I'm saying? I'm a good person, so I don't deserve this. And I really had to dig deep within myself. And I had to ask myself, like, some people go to therapy and I'm all for it. But the best therapy was for me was to self-analyze and self-love. And I had to ask myself, like, what is it about me that's attracting him? And the answer was, I had to forgive my mom. Like, my mom, she also was an ungodly soul tie. Like, she would put me down. She would say things. And in a weird way, I was looking for that love through him, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of us who go through childhood trauma or childhood things, we try to, because we didn't get that acceptance and that person kind of has similar characteristics, we're drawn to that. So he was a person that would give me backhanded compliments. My mother used to do that. My mother would be like, oh, she'll be like, oh, your hair looks nice, but it looked like it needs to be redone. Or she'll be like, oh, that outfit is nice, but it looks cheap. Like, she'll give like backhanded compliments. He used to do the same thing. And I didn't realize it. Like, it's not that I was in love with him, it's I wanted to be loved. Let me repeat that again. It's not that we're in love with the person, it's we want to be loved. Okay? So that's what ungodly soul ties do. You think that you love this person, whatever. But then at the end of the day, we're human. We're not Jesus Christ. So yes, you should have conditions on why you love someone. If you're in love with someone, but they do nothing but hurt you and belittle you, stop and ask yourself, why do I love this person? Do I actually love this person? Or is it that I want to be loved so bad and I'm just waiting for them to love me? You have to analyze that. Second of all, you need to figure out why you drawn to this person. You know, and one thing he said to me that was kind of hurtful, but it was kind of true. I was in transition. You know, I was getting myself together. I was doing a bunch. When I was living at home with my parents, I was so busy. Not only was I looking for work and going to trade school and everything else, I was looking for a place to live. I was like a chicken with my head cut off. And at the same time, trying to get a relationship with him. And it's like, sometimes if you're not put together, if you don't have your stuff together, and that person is not willing to help you, what good can that come of it? You know what I mean? So if that person's not willing to help you, it's not to say that you can't have a mate while you're unemployed. But if that person's not willing to help you, and that person's not understanding, they sit on their high horse like they can never be unemployed, then, you know, forget them, you know. But yeah, that was my one example of ungodly soul tie. And I have a lot more stories, but I'm gonna stop it right there. So bye.